Welcome back, everyone! This is Geronitis bringing you Feed the Beast 1710. Today we are starting on episode 37. And today, now that we actually have let some time pass while we were building our seed farm that looks like it's doing pretty good so far. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Well, since we were spending time building that, we've let our blood network build up. And in between episodes, I upgraded my altar ever so slightly. We now have a full set of speed runes going around the second layer of runes, and the third layer of runes are all runes of sacrifice. And if you must know, I will tell you, the runes of sacrifice are actually quite easy to make. They're just reinforced slates with gold and smooth stone. Okay, actually, since I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and pull this guy out of here, which, by the way, we are now full at 1 million life points. We're going to pull this orb out, and we're going to go ahead and put a stack of stone in over here to go ahead and be making some more things with it. One of the things we're going to be making, actually, I have it set to make reinforced slates. We're up to a stack plus 18, and yeah, we're going to make a lot more, but we can go ahead and let that continue to process. All right, so that can process, and we're going to go ahead and do some other things. Do we have any? Yeah, we got that, we got that, we got that, we got that. Good. So we got all that stuff set up. Today, since now we have plenty of stuff in my blood network, we're going to be looking at blood magic sigils. Okay? Now, I would have gone into blood magic sigils earlier, and there's a very good reason why I didn't. I tend to accidentally leave these on or use them excessively and not pay attention to my blood network, to my LP in my personal network, soul network. Anyway, I tend to forget about that, and any of these sigils drain directly from your soul network. So now that we've got this basically set up to be infinite, and all I have to do is put a blood orb in here and it will automatically keep my soul network full. Now I won't feel bad about using these. So let's go ahead and play with some sigils. Alright, so first off, let's go over what the sigils are and what they do. First off is the water sigil. Infinite water, anyone. This actually is going to be very useful. Let's go ahead and make this one first. We're going to need a single blank slate and 7 buckets of water and, of course, a blood orb. Let's see. I've got the blood orb. Give me this, and you know what, I'll probably need these too, but that's okay. We're going to need 7 buckets of water. Now, I'm not sure how many buckets I happen to have handy, but it's probably not 7. I've got 3 in my golden bag of holding, but do I have any more in my equips? 4. Well, in that case, let's make a couple more buckets. Now, every single one of these sigils has a very specific thing that it can be used for. And a couple of them are really, really helpful, and a couple of them are just kind of meh. But we're going to go over a couple of the really cool ones that I rather enjoy anyway. 7 buckets of water, and a crafting table, and a lot of eggs. Alright, so the sigil of water is actually going to make it so that you can have water forever, essentially. Okay, as with all things blood magic, right-click it once to make sure it binds to your soul network, current owner Geronitis. Now, everywhere I right-click, a water source block will appear, but you can't use it to fill the Petal Apothecary. That's disappointing. I thought you could. Oh well. But anyway, anywhere I right-click, a source of water will show up. So let's go ahead and just break this block right here. And when we right-click, it creates a source block of water. So that's really cool. It doesn't act like an actual bucket, though, so that's kind of disappointing. But that's okay, because, hey, Mr. Pigman. Yeah, I'll leave you alone for now. Okay, but making this sigil just to have water pop out of it, well, that's one thing. But we're not really here for that specifically. The second one is going to be the lava sigil. The lava sigil is actually pretty cool. It makes it so that you can right-click lava into the world, taking from your soul network in order to do so. So we're going to need 6 buckets of lava. We're going to need a lava crystal, which requires another 3 buckets of lava, some obsidian, diamond, and glass. So let's see, how many buckets of lava do I have left in here? 1, 2, 3. Well, I had at least 7. Oh, I still got 3.5 left. Nice. All right, cool. So now we're going to need a little bit of glass. And a diamond. Nope, 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 diamond. And we should be able to go ahead and make ourselves the lava crystal. Oh, wait, we need the obsidian too. I forgot the obsidian. I'm going to have to get some more obsidian soon, which actually we're going to be looking towards getting some more obsidian here very shortly. Let's see. Oh, yeah, obsidian. Why did I come over here again? Might it be the obsidian that you've been talking about nonstop? Alright, so 3 buckets of lava, 2 obsidian, 2 glass, that and that. That and that. Oh, duh, the diamond. I knew that. And thus we have our lava crystal. So now we can take the lava crystal and make the lava sigil with it, which is going to require the 6 more buckets of lava. And it's a magma cream. I should have one of those. If not, I can make one, no big deal. Magma cream, magma cream. Okay, well, I guess I don't have a magma cream handy, but that's okay. Now I do. Yay! Alright, cool. So now we can put this here, and it's not working. Oh, because it's not this, it's that. Sweet. Alright, so now we have a lava sigil. Okay, the lava sigil, like I said, is just like the water sigil in that we can first off right-click it to bind it to myself, and then we can right-click it and it will create a source block of lava, which is actually kind of... Oh, hey, it didn't use it up. Sweet. So we can actually just, you know... Anyway, so I can use this to create an infinite amount of obsidian, but as you remember, I said that I'm not going to use any means of gathering lava other than to generate it in another way. Okay, so I can actually make it so I have infinite lava by using this, but I really don't feel that that's a fair way to do it. Although I could technically use this because I am generating infinite blood, but we'll look at that some other time. Alright, so after we have the water and lava sigil, well, the next one I want to make is going to be the air sigil. The air sigil... Better than Swiffer. Anyway, the air sigil is the next fun one to play with. We're going to be getting this one. We're actually going to be making more than one of these, actually. So we're going to need 6 feathers. We're going to make 2 of these. So we're going to need 12 feathers, 2 gas tiers, and 2 of the reinforced slates, which should be no problem whatsoever, actually. 12, 2 gas tiers. Did I grab? Yes, I did grab the reinforced slates. Excellent. The air sigil is actually one that I really wanted to make earlier, but I didn't want to die, and I would have, because I know me very well. The air sigil basically allows you a certain kind of flight capabilities, and I'll show you what that is here in just a second. Alright, so the air sigil basically makes it so that when you right-click in the world, first off, the first one binds it to you and also propels you forward. So it uses a small amount of life points to do this. I'm wanting to say it's like 100 life points from your soul network every time you right-click. However, it can make it so that you can essentially fly. So by continuously right-clicking, you will be able to basically propel yourself forward. It basically propels you in whatever direction you are pointing your reticle at. So by right... Oh, wow, 2 king slimes, really? Oh, hey, yeah, there's a welcoming party there. Anyway, so the point is that doing this way is actually a really fun way to fly around. Actually, here we go, 975,368. 300. Okay, so it's 250 per. Wow, I think it used to be 100, but anyway, now it's higher. So the problem with this is I would have used this earlier, except for first off, I would drain my soul network faster than I would be able to do anything with it. and I would eventually wind up killing myself due to my soul network being empty. And secondly is fall damage. I am horrible when it comes to fall damage in these things. Like when you're flying out this way, you have to try to like click ever so carefully so that you land and not take damage. I tend to kind of hit the ground hard and, you know, splat. So yeah, not the greatest thing in the world. But now that we have infinite life essence, if as long as I keep a blood orb in the altar up there, then I can use this. But the fall damage is still going to be a problem. Okay, so what are we going to do about the fall damage? Well, it happens to be that the water sigil, lava sigil, and air sigil can be combined together, and it gets you the sigil of elemental affinity, perfect for a fire-breathing fish who's afraid of heights. Yeah, fire-breathing fish, afraid of heights. You heard me right. So we're going to need 4 more obsidian. We're going to need the 3 sigils that I just made, and we're going to need an imbued slate. And I should have an imbued slate hanging out over here at the altar. One imbued slate. Excellent. All right. Now, the really cool thing about this is actually going to give us multiple effects. And if I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while since I've made one of these, so I'm thinking I remember how this works, but we'll find out. Let's see, it should be air, fire, water. Air, fire, water, obsidian, and the imbued slate. And oh, backwards. I always like to do that. So the sigil of elemental affinity. Excellent. Of course, right-click it to turn it on, but also to bind it to your soul network. And now, if I'm not mistaken, I don't take fall damage. Let's test this out real quick. It's a possibility, but I might be wrong. Let's hope not. Ah, isn't that beautiful? No more fall damage. Along with no more fall damage, actually, comes another nice little side effect. Let's see, here we go. Sploosh. Now, as I remember, you can't drown while you have this active. If you look down on the right-hand corner of my screen right here, my air gauge is not going down. I can breathe forever, as long as I am holding this sigil and as long as it is active. So I can fly and not take any fall damage. Stud. And I can also breathe underwater. And the other thing is, now if you remember, it says, for a fire-breathing fish who's afraid of heights. As long as I have this active, lava doesn't hurt me, like at all. And just to prove this fact, we're going to step into the nether real quick. This is going to be very, very useful, you'll see. Because now, not only am I unable to take fall damage, I can fly, but I can also swim in lava with no ill effects. I'm invincible! As long as I don't run out of life energy. Which, by the way, now we are... Yeah, we've already used up almost 500,000 life points just playing around right here. Now, I wouldn't have a problem with that if I had put my blood orb back in the altar. But if you remember, my altar is actually working on making me some more reinforced slates. So it's not generating life points for me right now. So I actually kind of need to be a little careful. I mean, realistically, I'm not going to burn through 1,000,000 life points that quickly. But if I forget and just go on and play around for a long time, then I will kill myself. I know me. I've seen me do it. All right? Now then, the other thing we're going to do is play with... Actually, there's another couple of sigils we're going to play with. Give me just a second to get the stuff together. Alright, for this next part, we're actually going to need some more different types of slates. As you can see, I went ahead and put this back in here, and we are back up to full. It didn't take very long, actually. By the way, I forgot to mention that the Rune of Sacrifice... I really should have mentioned this earlier because, you know, whatever. I'm stupid. What can you do? For each Rune of Sacrifice that you put in, you get a 20% increase in the amount of life points you get from enemies taking damage. So, as you remember before, Basically, it takes every time one of these witches takes damage, you get 10 life points per witch per tick of damage. Okay, so when you add a Rune of Sacrifice, it goes from 10 to 12 because it's extra 20%. Okay, so then when you add, in this case, I've added 7, 14, 28 runes. I'm going to be getting an extra lots. I'm getting lots more. Math is hard. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and throw 20 of these reinforced slates in here. Now I've set the filter on this side to only pulled out imbued slates, the imbued slates being the next tier of slates. And we're going to need some extras of these for the next piece that we're going to be doing. All right, so the next thing I'm wanting to do is to build a sigil of, where'd it go? No, magnetism. The sigil of magnetism is going to actually be very useful for me. We're going to need 4 blocks of iron, 3 pieces of gold, and imbued slate. So let's go grab some blocks of iron. Now, the sigil of magnetism works a lot like Botania's ring of magnetization. And the only reason I would make this and use life points is, first off, I have infinite life points, so I'm not worried about using them. Okay, the second thing is that I actually now will be able to turn my magnet on and off by right-clicking the sigil, and I won't have to worry about swapping out slots. Like, you know, the band of mana is always here, and I have to take the band of mana off to put the ring of magnetization in that slot. Well, I don't want to have to do that, so I'm not going to. And you know what I don't have out here? I can't believe I don't have a crafting table out here. Crafting table, crafting table, crafting table? Fine, I'll make a new one. There's probably one like right there that I just stared at, but whatever. Alright, cool. So now I can actually just go ahead and use a sigil to take care of this. Oh, sorry about that. I had to sneeze. It was sneezy. Alright, so let's see. We're going to go ahead and place this right there. Seems like a good idea. Oh, wow. It actually used up all the essence in the altar. That was impressive. Alright, so let's see. Let's grab the imbued slates, and we should be able to go ahead and make the ring of the sigil of magnetization. Got those. We got, was it this? I don't remember now. Been too long ago. Magnetization. There it is. Ah, that's right. Gold and then the... Got it. Let's see. I was on the right path. I just stopped a step short. Sweet. So now, of course, right-click it to bind it to yourself and to turn it on and off. So I no longer need the ring of magnetization, and I don't have to worry about swapping things in and out. Excellent. That's really cool. All right, so let's stick this one aside as well, along with the air sigil. And the sigil elemental affinity, I don't really need that on right now. Let's turn it off. I may have infinite LP, but let's not waste as much as I'm not currently charging, so wasting is still a bad idea. All right, so what is the next sigil that I want to do? Because all of these things, there's so many useful sigils. All right, so let's see. Sigil of Sight, Sigil of the Whirlwind. That's a fun one, but not really useful. Sigil of the Phantom Bridge. Not really the greatest in the world. Let's see. Magnetism. Blood Lamp. Blood Lamp is one of the ones I want to play with as well. This is going to require 4 pieces of glowstone, a torch, and 3 more imbued slates, which I don't have the glowstone on me, and I knew I was going to make this, and I meant to grab it, but I forgot. You ever forget? Happened to me. Alright, now the really cool part about this particular sigil is it basically makes it so that you'll never need torches again. 4 of those, not 5, 4. Alright, and we should be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4... 3 imbued slates, a torch, and where's my... Dadgummit, I left the blood orb. Left the blood orb in the other crafting table. I can't make up my mind, but it's okay. Either craft out here or craft in there. Stop running back and forth. It's annoying. Of course, I could just use my wand of transport. That would, make more sense, but we can't make sense around here. It's against the rules. Alright, so anyway, at a very small cost of life points, we can now use this to make torches. Okay, it doesn't really make torches, but it makes essentially the equivalent of a torch. So let's see. Let's right click to bind it to myself, and it will probably fire off one real quick. Yep. So as you can see, this basically launches torches from a distance, and it basically leaves these little particle effects and little redstone particle effects. And as you can see, it is tile.block_blood_light_source.name. Okay, I didn't need two of these that close together. And you can target them and you can break them, no big deal. But now I can essentially launch torches anywhere I want them, and it only costs, I believe it's 20 life points per torch that you place. So I will never need torches again, and I can actually light up the entire countryside. Excellent. That is a really fun one to have, and it has an amazing amount of usefulness. Alright, so one more. Well, actually, I think we're going to have to make two more, technically. We want to make the Sigil of Suppression. Okay, the Sigil of Suppression is going to require 3 buckets of lava, 3 buckets of water, a teleposer, which we haven't made yet, and a void sigil, which we haven't made yet. The void sigil is actually going to be very simple. It's just 6 empty buckets, a piece of string, and a reinforced slate. So we should be able to go ahead and do that. No reinforced slates. Not running in there without what I need again. Which actually, why am I not... I'm not processing anything. Let's fix that. Reinforced slates. Get back to work. How am I doing on my... Oh, still got plenty. Excellent. Alright, so... Why did I come in here? Oh, because I needed string. That's right. Mob drops. Oh, I have one. I need a piece of string, and I have one piece of string. That's pretty funny. Alright, 6 empty buckets. The blood thingy, and that. And I always get those backwards. Cool. So we now have a void sigil. I honestly don't remember what the void sigil does. I know that it makes it so that you can't take void damage. So if you're like in the end or something and you fall off into nothingness, it'll show damage, but you won't actually be hurt by it as long as it's active, which it's not activating or not activating. Interesting. Now, is this one of the ones that can actually delete things if you... I don't remember now. I'm sure the Void Sigil has some great uses. I can't remember what they are. Leave it in the comments, please. If anybody knows what those, usefulness of those are, please let me know, because I don't remember. And now I used up my buckets, so now I'm going to need 6 total. So that's going to be 18 iron to make 6 more buckets. Alright, so I'm going to need... Oh, I don't have the lava. And I used up the lava sigil, so I can't make any more. Oh, that's okay. We'll just do this. This is going to take up a bunch of power, but it's okay. We only need 3 buckets of lava. There we go. That thing's pretty handy, I gotta say. And I don't feel bad because I'm using my power in order to do it. So, actually, I need 3 more buckets of water. Lava really is pretty overpowered as a source for, well, a lot of things in this game. So, I may be doing some really overpowered stuff otherwise, but I'm not using lava inappropriately. So, alright, so let's see. The Sigil of Suppression is going to have those three, the Void Sigil, the Master Blood Orb, and then the Teleposer. The Teleposer is actually something we're going to use down the line. It's going to be very useful. The Teleposer is going to be, let's see, 2 Ender Pearls, 6 gold, and a Teleposition Focus. The Teleposition Focus is a Ender Pearl in a Blood Altar, and it has to be tier 4. Otherwise, I would have used it before now. Trust me, if I could make Teleposers early on, boy, oh boy, I would have. Alright, so we're going to need 3 total of those. We're going to need 6 gold ingots. And that's it, right? No, not that. That. Yep, that's it. Alright, let's run out here and make ourselves a teleposer. This is actually going to be really cool. I like the Sigil of Suppression. It's going to be really fun when it comes to hunting things later on. Let's see. Okay, you stop. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Excellent. All right, and that made the teleposition focus. So now we should be able to go ahead and put this in here, along with this and this. And we now have the teleposer. So then the teleposer, along with the buckets, and right, that and that. We now have the Sigil of Suppression. Better than telekinesis. Deactivated, current owner, no one. Well, then let's get going. Booyah! Active and current owner Geronitis. Now, let me show you why this is so cool. And this is really actually quite amazing. The way this works is by taking life points from you. Now, keep in mind that these various ones, these use different amounts of life points. I can never remember how much it is. That's why I don't do these until I have an infinite source of life essence. But with the Sigil of Suppression active, I can go for a walk. I want to see what's going on at the bottom of the... Oh, hey, cool, a water hive. And basically, it keeps a dome of air around me, and I can go look around and see what might be on the bottom of the ocean. How cool is that? But wait, there's more. It actually works in multiple places. It actually will also work in lava. No, not magnetism, air. Come here. Anyway, it doesn't actually destroy the water blocks, it just displaces them, and as you'll see here in just a second, they will all come back. And they fill back in, which is so cool. That is the greatest. Now, this will be very useful later on when I want to go walking through lava, and there will actually be a specific reason for that later. But we are running out of time for the episode, so I'm not going to go to the Nether and show you guys how this works there. Let's turn this thing off, because this one I know is actually kind of expensive to keep running. But I still have 9.5 million, so yeah, I'm good. All right, so now you might ask yourself, why is it that with all this amazing stuff, you have to tie up so much of your inventory? Well, the simple answer is you don't. We are going to make one more sigil, and that is the Sigil of Holding. The Sigil of Holding is actually very simple to make. It actually just requires one imbued slate, 4 blank slates, and some smooth stone, which we should have all of over here. All right, we have the imbued slate, we have the blank slates, we just need the smooth stone. 3 smooth stone. Oh yeah, turn back on you. Get back to work. All right, so we should be able to do 1, 2, 3. One of those, that, and that. Holy crap, I remember the recipe without having to look at it twice. Amazing. All right, so Sigil of Holding, used to hold several sigils. All right, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to get this. We're going to right-click it, and it's going to bind it to us. Okay. Then with this, we can put this in our thingy, which are here, and we can go ahead and select the Air Sigil, the Sigil of Suppression, and let's go with the Elemental Affinity one. Uh-oh. Am I doing this wrong? I think I'm doing this wrong. Sigil of Holding. Or is it... Maybe you have to shift right click? I don't remember. Wait, what just happened? Oh! Dadgummit, that's not how I meant for that to happen. Anyway, so the Sigil of Holding basically... Dang it. Well, now I have the Sigil of the Blood Lamp. Shift right click the Sigil of the Air. Shift right click to the Sigil of Magnetization. I really wanted this to be the sigil of suppression, magnetism, and elemental affinity, but I kind of forgot that when you shift right click, it pulls it into the into there. Um, Give me just a second. I'm thinking there's a way to get these back out of here, but I don't remember. So hang on just a second. Okay, so I now have figured it out. The way to get them back off of here, because as you can see, it can hold 4 different ones. I don't want the divination sigil. I don't want the sigil of the blood lamp. So I want those both off of there. In order to do that, I need to get another ritual going. To get rituals going, I'm going to need more ritual stones. More ritual stones means more obsidian. Let me see how many I can get right here real quick, just because. Actually, I'm going to need this. So I want to go ahead and rebuild my current layout of the ritual of binding. However, I can't use the ritual of binding because I don't have the ritual stones anymore. They're all being used down under there. So I want to not only rebuild the ritual down there, but I also want to go ahead and build a ritual of unbinding, which is going to be required to get these off of here. Now, 36 is not going to be enough. You know what? We're going to have to get some more obsidian. Give me just a second. We're going to run into the nether, and I'm going to show you guys the fast obsidian method. Be right back. All right, some of you may have remembered from a while back, I discovered that the Biomes of Plenty added liquid in the nether, which I thought was incredibly stupid. But I thought that I was going to have to go ahead and make liquid to come into the nether to do this with, but because they gave it to me, it makes it a lot easier. The bound pickaxe, as wonderful as it is, this is the instant obsidian. Basically, what you want to do is get to where you have water on top of a large source of lava, and right-click, and right-click, and right-click, and right-click, and right-click, and right-click, and oh my, look at all that. That is what we call fast obsidian. And because I have the sigil of the elemental affinity on, I can't drown in it either. So I can literally just stay here all day and gather obsidian, if it weren't for the fact that I don't have the inventory space for it. But yes, this is the fast and easy way to infinite obsidian. So now that we have lots of obsidian, which I'll actually have to... Where's my other golden bag of holding? Here we go. Come here, other golden bag of holding. Here, hold some obsidian. Oh, wait a minute. And also, sigil of magnetization. Come here. More obsidian, please. More obsidian, please. Aw, we're running out to the bottom. But as you can see, we now have infinite obsidian, and it's incredibly easy to get. So, yep, we'll be back in the overworld here in just a second. I'm going to make these, the thing of the stuff in the whatever. We'll be right back. Alrighty, so we got that taken care of. Got our ritual of binding reset up over here, and we have our ritual of unbinding being set up over here. I built it above the ground and then refit it in the ground because I can never remember the way these things are shaped. So here we go. Build, 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 build. Come on. 7. Sweet. So that should be it. All right, so now let's do a real quick... oh, wait. We need the activation crystal. There we go. All right, so now we right-click the activation crystal, and we throw this in there. And it pretty much instantly unbound them. So, yay, here we are. We have the sigil of holding. Now, I want to go ahead and make sure we put these right, okay? I want the suppression sigil. I don't want divination. Elemental affinity, air. I don't want blood lamp. So now, if we shift right-click, it should have taken in, what did it take? The sigil of magnetism. Again, one I didn't want. Dadgummit, this is just not happening right. Here, unbind it again. Thank you. Okay, let's try this a different way. Sigil of magnetism, go away. Here we go. Elemental affinity, suppression, and air. Go. Are we just not. Okay, so we got Air Sigil and Sigil Elemental Affinity. Apparently, the Sigil of Suppression is not going to be able to be put on here. I'm kind of surprised by that, actually. I really thought I'd be able to. Huh. Interesting. All right, well, in that case, we will go ahead and put the Sigil of Magnetism on here, because I can, and why not? And I think that pretty much does it for this episode. The Sigil of the Blood Lamp I don't want on there because I want to be able to place those whenever. The Divination Sigil, it's really not necessary to have that on there. Well, I don't know. Should I? What are the colors that are currently on here? We got kind of a... I don't know what color to call that. It's kind of orangish, blue. What colors do we have left? Blood Lamp or Divination? You know what? Let's just use the Divination one. I think that'll work. So now we should be able to... Yeah. That's a good rotation of 4, I think. Air, Elements, Affinities, Magnetism, and Divination. That works out nicely. And we'll keep a couple of these off to the side for when I need them. But, yep, that's it for this episode. This has been the Blood Magic Sigils episode. So that's it for episode 37 of my Let's Play series. Like me if you like me. Subscribe if you want to see what I get into next. And as always, help spread the gaming!